If you're still trusting OpenAI with your business in 2026, you're ignoring a financial catastrophe that insiders refuse to address publicly. The company that sparked the global AI revolution is hemorrhaging money, top talent, and market share at alarming speed. Investors have poured in over $150 billion, yet mounting losses show zero path to profit. Rivals emerged overnight, delivering superior models at a fraction of the price. We uncovered 5 brutal realities. Quietly dismantling OpenAI from the inside. Here's everything the headlines are hiding. Inside OpenAI's finance office, the numbers stopped adding up long before the headlines caught on. A leaked financial deck for Q3 2025 spells out the reality. $5 billion lost in 2024 against just $3.7 billion in revenue. Infrastructure spending hit $22 billion, roughly $60 million burned every single day, most of it poured into GPU clusters and cloud compute bills. The documents, stamped with a chief financial officer's signature and confirmed by outside auditors, paint a picture of a company running on borrowed time. The board received a loss warning memo in July 2025. It didn't mince words. Projected losses would outstrip even the most aggressive revenue forecasts, and the company's cash-to-burn ratio had already breached loan covenants. An auditor's note attached to the memo flagged substantial doubt about OpenAI's ability to meet its obligations without another capital injection. The board's own January 2026 presentation projected $14 billion net loss for the year ahead, with a runway that ends by late 2027 unless new funding materializes. External analysts at Goldman Sachs and Bloomberg, working off the same leaked figures, echoed the alarm. Their models put OpenAI's 2026 losses between $13 and $15 billion, matching the internal forecast. The total capital raised so far, over $150 billion across 6 funding rounds, hasn't bought solvency. Instead, it's bought time, and that time is running out. For enterprise customers, the risk isn't theoretical. With every passing quarter, the likelihood grows that OpenAI could face a sudden liquidity crisis, service disruption, or forced restructuring. The financial moat that once kept competitors at bay is now a liability. And the next section will show how cost-focused rivals are already circling. DeepSeek's R1 announcement landed like a thunderclap in January 2025. The claim was a frontier AI model trained from scratch for just $6 million. No billion-dollar data center, no endless GPU leases. Just a 3-day sprint on a Shanghai cluster of NVIDIA 8800 GPUs. The number ricocheted through industry channels, first as rumor, then as a hard figure confirmed in a Reuters report, and dissected in ML Commons' official ML-perf logs. The $6 million price tag was not a vague estimate. It tracked to Alibaba Cloud's posted H800 rates and matched the reported 11 million GPU hours for R1's pre-training run. DeepSeek's engineers credited a mixture of experts' architecture and aggressive synthetic data generation for the cost collapse, bypassing the brute force approach that had defined OpenAI's spending spree. But it was not just the sticker shock. The R1 model, submitted to ML-perf version 5.1 benchmark suite, scored within a few percentage points of T4 on reasoning and text tasks. Stanford's FSY study and an RXIV preprint both confirmed the parity, at least for headline metrics. Suddenly, the old assumption that only a company burning $20 billion a year could lead in AI looked obsolete. Market reaction was immediate. The day the R1 benchmark video dropped, the Nasdaq Composite fell 1.3%, and NVIDIA lost $150 billion in market value. Analyst notes flagged a new era of price competition, and OpenAI's perceived moat, its massive infrastructure turned from asset to liability overnight. Enterprise clients, already uneasy about OpenAI's losses, now saw a viable alternative. At a tenth of the cow, the DeepSeek breakthrough did not just undercut OpenAI's economics, it shattered the illusion of safety for anyone betting their business on a single, expensive provider. February 2026. Greg Brockman's resignation lands on LinkedIn at 9:04 a.m., followed within hours by Mira Murati's terse farewell. Ilya Sutskever, once the face of OpenAI's technical vision, posts a cryptic thread about new directions in safe AI and quietly updates his profile to founder of a rival lab. By the end of the week, more than a dozen senior researchers have scrubbed OpenAI from their bios. The exodus isn't limited to the C-suite. Core members of the safety and alignment teams, including several who led the Q-Star project, resign in clusters. Some cite ethical rifts in brief public statements. Others simply vanish into stealth startups or join Anthropic, Google DeepMind, and Mistral. A spreadsheet circulating among recruiters lists over 40 high-value departures between December 2025 and March 2026. Many of these names reappear days later on the team page of Sutskever's new venture, already flush with seed funding from Silicon Valley's most aggressive AI investors. The safety team, once considered OpenAI's last line of defense, fragments almost overnight. LinkedIn data shows a 28% drop in OpenAI's research headcount in the first quarter of 2026. Alone, most of them with expertise in frontier model development, safety, and distributed training. Public resignation letters hint at deeper fractures, disputes over model deployment speed, pressure to hit revenue targets, and growing unease about the company's risk tolerance. The cumulative effect is operational fragility. Without the architects of its core models and the stewards of its safety protocols, OpenAI's ability to ship, secure, and differentiate new products erodes in real time. Every high-profile exit amplifies the sense that the moat is gone and that the smartest minds are betting their futures elsewhere. ChatGPT's dominance is no longer a given. By March 2026, third-party analytics show its global web share has slid below 32%, down from over 60% just 18 months earlier. The drop is not just a blip. It is a direct response to a new breed of rivals, now matching or exceeding OpenAI's performance at a fraction of the price. Google's Gemini, Anthropic's Claude 3.7, Meta's Llama 3, Mistral's Mixtral, and Alibaba's Qwen models have all surged in both developer adoption and enterprise contracts. Analyst benchmarks from ML Commons and Stanford's Helm project confirm the convergence. Gemini, Ultra, and Claude 3.7 now score within 1 to 2 percentage points of GPT-4 Turbo on core reasoning, coding, and language tasks. Mistral's Mixtral and Meta's Llama 3, both open-weight models, have captured a wave of startups and mid-size enterprises looking to avoid vendor lock-in. Developer sentiment on Stack Overflow and the subreddit Machine Learning has flipped. Where once GPT-4 was the default, threads now debate the best Gemini or Claude prompts for production use. Even Fortune 500 IT chiefs, once loyal to OpenAI APIs, are signing multi-year deals with Google and Meta, citing lower costs and faster integration. The era of a captive market is over. For any business still treating OpenAI as the safe bet, the facts now point in a different direction. October 2023. The OpenAI board convenes for an emergency vote, an attempt to remove CEO Sam Altman that fractures the company's leadership at its core. The board's stated concern: was that the aggressive push for commercial dominance was eroding OpenAI's original nonprofit mission. Legal analysts later point out that the vote skirted the company's own governance charter, which requires a 2/3 supermajority for such a move. The confrontation ends only when Microsoft threatens to pull a $13 billion cloud deal, forcing the board to reinstate Altman within days. No court filings, no public minutes, just a trail of leaked memos and private letters that hint at deep, unresolved tensions between profit and principle. The aftershocks ripple outward. In May 2024, the Federal Trade Commission issues a subpoena, FTC 2024-001, demanding OpenAI's internal pricing contracts and communications with Microsoft, citing possible anti-competitive conduct. Across the Atlantic, the European Commission opens a Digital Markets Act investigation, case EUDMA 2024-07 OpenAI, probing gatekeeper abuses and alleged price discrimination against smaller developers. Both agencies request compliance plans and internal documentation, with deadlines that come and go without public resolution. The FTC docket and the EU register show ongoing scrutiny, but no final actions. For investors, the absence of regulatory clarity is a warning sign, the kind that makes institutional capital nervous. In the words of a Fidelity asset manager, OpenAI's governance is now a black box. For any business betting on long-term stability, the lack of transparency is as dangerous as any technical shortfall. Every major shift in the tech industry creates new winners, and OpenAI's unraveling has already set the stage for a dramatic redistribution of power. As senior engineers and research leads walk out the door in San Francisco, their arrival is quietly celebrated in the offices of Anthropic, Google DeepMind, and Meta's Fundamental AI Research Group. Google, for years trailing in the AI arms race, now boasts Gemini Ultra, benchmarked within striking distance of GPT-4 Turbo and rapidly gaining ground in enterprise contracts. Anthropic, flush with fresh capital from Amazon and a surge of OpenAI alumni, has doubled its research headcount since January. Meta's Llama 3 and Mistral's Mixtral, both open-weight models, are fueling a migration of startups and mid-sized businesses eager to escape proprietary lock-in. Even Fortune 500 chief information officers, once locked into OpenAI's API ecosystem, are signing multi-year deals with Google and Meta, citing lower costs and faster integration. Capital, once earmarked for OpenAI's next funding round, is now flowing to rivals. Andreessen Horowitz, Sequoia, and SoftBank have all announced new investments in competing labs. The talent maps and funding flows tell the story. As OpenAI stumbles, the beneficiaries are already moving in. Right now, OpenAI's $14 billion in losses, shrinking market share, and talent exodus are not just headlines. They are direct threats to every business betting on their platform. Smart leaders are diversifying, auditing dependencies, and demanding contractual flexibility immediately. In this new AI reality, safety means never relying on a single provider. Drop your perspective below